Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. So tonight we have a very special guest joining me. He is a new friend. He is a fellow Badass Do-Gooder member, and I cannot wait for him to come on. His name is Steve Celi. We just recently connected, and he is so energetic. He is so amazing, and I love his content of his page. And he just wants to come on and basically talk about him finding his passion and just not letting anything get in the way from it. So once Steve requests to join in, I'll accept and we'll get started. Hello. Hi. Just waiting for Steve to join. Hello, welcome. Thank you guys for joining. Here he is. Just waiting for him to here we go. Live now.
Connect.
Hello.
There we go. Hi.
How are you?
Great. How are you? Great to meet you in person, sort of.
Virtually meet you. Yeah. Very nice to virtually meet you.
Yes. I hope my internet's doing well because it was acting up just a few minutes ago, but
Jeez,
hopefully
I'm so
it's
sorry.
all right.
That was not me. That was my dog.
Oh, no worries. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I saw your message, and then I saw you came on, so I figured it was okay. Well, sort of.
Perfect.
It's doing something. Okay. Okay. How was your day?
Great. Everything's really good. I had a really nice day. Really beautiful here in Florida. It was chilly when I woke up. It was like in the 50s, which is not like it here. So it was the first like 50s. I think I read on the weather app it was like the coldest day since like last December or something like that. So it's been a
Wow.
while. Yeah. So
And
yeah, it was
50
a
is
little
not
chilly.
that cold, but I guess
No,
compared
no.
to what it normally is.
Yeah, so it was not that cold, and then it was like absolutely beautiful during the day because the sun came out and it was like no clouds, so the sun was warm. It was a really nice
Nice.
day, so
I
super
love that.
lucky.
I love
Yeah,
when the sun hits me. It's my favorite thing.
yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on with me.
Of course. How was your day?
It was good. It was really busy, but it
Nice.
was a good busy.
Nice. What's up,
Yeah.
Evan? My boy Evan's always on my lives.
I know. I see a bunch of people. I'm trying to wave at everyone. Thank you all for coming. So I guess we'll wait like another minute. Just wait for more people to join.
Sure thing.
So other than 50s, like how's the weather over Florida right now?
Really nice. It's been sunny for the past week or so, usually sunny, but before that it was a rainy spell here and there. That's all it is, a little bit of rain and warmth, but I love it. I love it here because it's always mostly warm year round, and that's what I really go for. But besides that, I've actually been itching to travel because last year I did a lot of traveling, and this year nothing. I think I went to
Yeah.
the west coast of Florida, which I haven't been to. I went a couple months ago, but besides that, I haven't been anywhere. So really
Yeah,
dying to go
same.
somewhere.
Same. I really want to go. I even bought myself, I don't know why I decided to buy myself like a little luggage set because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll go buy myself a luggage set. And I'm like, I really can't go
It's
anywhere right now.
manifesting. You know, you're telling yourself you're gonna next opportunity, you're ready.
Exactly. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
That's
Definitely. I'm
awesome.
actually planning on taking a trip to definitely Florida because I want to
Mm.
visit our friend Amber.
Yes, I talked to her today, actually.
Yeah, she told me. That's so
That's
nice.
awesome.
It's so cool that we're both connected with her.
Yeah, you have
And
to let me know when you're here. We'll all meet up.
definitely. And then I want to take a trip over to California to meet
Nice.
Zeke and
Yes.
a bunch of other wonderful people from our
Super nice.
badass group.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
day reminded me of LA because it was super clear. And every time I've been to LA, I've been 3 times, I think, and it's always sun out, no clouds, super clear, and like a little bit brisk if you're in the shade. That's like exactly how it
Yeah.
was today, but it's crazy how it's like that always over there. It's insane.
Nice. Wow, we have a lot of people join in. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Ready, guys? Here's more. Okay.
Just
So
hydrated.
good. Hydrate. I don't have anything to hydrate
Oh
me,
no, I'm
but I'll be
prepared.
okay.
See, I'm a live stream veteran.
um, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So, end of high school, growing up, I was always a short one, loved playing sports. I'm going to go into the dunk journey. And never really thought it was something I could do. Didn't even think it was possible for me to dunk. And then next thing I knew, I was on the JV basketball team, didn't play. I was still the shortest one. And then never really practiced because I didn't really think I could make it to the NBA. You don't see
Yeah.
anybody under 6 foot. So then my friends were trying to dunk. I didn't even attempt. I couldn't touch the rim. So that was like sophomore year in high school. Couldn't even touch the rim. And then at the end of high school, I was just still playing basketball, still a fan. I don't know what it was, but I just like went to go touch the rim, like during a PE class, and I did. I like after a few jumps, I like just touched it, and I was like, man, that's a pretty good amount of jumping ability for just like not really
Yeah.
training it. And then I was like, okay, I wonder if I could like grab it and hang on it, like just not just touch it and come down, like hang on and stay up there. And I thought to myself, like that would be an amazing goal because that's what the pros, the same rim that the pros on, this 5'10" white kid could hang on the same rim. So that was like a big milestone. I didn't
Nice.
think anything further than that. I just kind of thought about that. And I did it after a couple weeks or months. I just jumped and like barely got it. Like I would have missed it a million times, grab it, not have enough of my hands to hold on,
Right.
grabbed it, hung on, and it was like a life-changing moment. I was like, wow, I could like train this to go higher. Because jumping was something that didn't seem you could train. Like I would
Hmm.
meet kids that could play basketball and they could either jump really high or they can't. Like strength training, like people get stronger, they get bigger muscles. That I kind of knew, but there was nobody my height dunking, and if they did, they always could jump high. They never like trained.
Right.
So then I hung on the rim, and then I started looking up on YouTube, and I found this guy named Andy Nicholson. He's a
I've heard of
huge,
them.
yes, he's a huge
Yeah.
inspiration in my life. He actually started the dunk camp a couple years ago. So this was like, so that was about 3 years ago was the first dunk camp, but that was like 6 to 7 years after I started my dunk journey. So it was a cool full circle moment where I got to like host a dunk camp where he inspired me and I inspired a lot of people, and we made this dunk camp. He made the dunk camp, I should say. I was just a coach.
Yeah.
Um, so he was a 5'10" guy, and he was 39 at the time, and he dunked for his first time, or he trained from touching the rim to dunking, and that showed me at 5'10" that somebody could train to do it. So that was like my first instance with seeing is believing. I didn't know it at the time, but I was like, I saw something possible, and now I believed it was possible, so I went for it. So that's when I started dunk training, 2011. I just started college. I was 18. And in about 4 or 5 months, I can't remember exactly, but I got my first dunk, and it was amazing. And then since that, it was like a huge moment because I was like, okay, now I like achieved something that I didn't even think was possible.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, how far can I go? So then the whole dunk journey, I was in college, I had a lot of free time, trained my butt off as much as I could, and just kept pushing the limits. And then the next part about it was I was always documenting. From the start, I loved documenting it on YouTube just for my own documentation. Didn't think anything of it. I just enjoyed
Yeah.
making the videos. And then I started getting questions, the same questions I would ask when I was trying to get my first dunk: how to jump higher, how often do you jump, what's your best technique, best tips. And I had a lot of empathy for those people because I was in their shoes. And every answer like meant a lot to me when I was trying to jump higher. So I was like, oh, I think I want to help them because I know I felt so connected to them. And so I started answering all their questions. And then I realized I should probably just do a video where I talk about jumping. And that was my first vlog.
Yeah.
And so that was about 2016. And I had just started my corporate job. I graduated from college. And so it was all like an alignment where I'm like, okay, maybe Amber, she's here.
Hey, Amber.
So,
The solar pop up.
yeah. So then I started my job, and I also did not like my job. I knew I wasn't gonna, it was kind of like I needed a job after college. I got it. I'm like, okay, now I'm secure. Now what do I want to do with my life?
Right.
So I loved creating videos. I loved dunking. I'm like, what if I do that? I played Thor. Yeah, I was Thor in college and I dunked in a Thor costume once. It was kind of cool. I had like a cape.
That's
Um,
really awesome.
so then, yes. So then and then vlogging was getting big on YouTube. So that's when I started the whole content career of like doing that, trying videos, trying that. Didn't blow up on YouTube. That was the goal. I was trying to like blow up quit my corporate job, be a YouTuber. And that didn't work, but I learned so much. I learned how to video edit like fast and
Yeah.
efficient. I realized how much I loved it. I realized how much I just love film in general. I started doing more
Hmm.
photography. I started doing like freelance photo and video. And I started creating more and more content. Instagram started to get big because when I started my dunk journey, there was no Instagram. I forget when it came
Right.
out, but then I started doing that. And that just showed me like during that time as well, I started like really trying to just better myself. It was when I started to really think about life more when I was at my corporate job. I was like, I don't want to be here forever, so I don't know what to
Right.
do. I found
Exactly.
podcasts, started reading more, started doing a lot of personal growth, and just really learning a lot about myself. And as I did that,
Yeah.
2019 last year, I built up a lot of skills. I even got life coach certified
Nice.
um, because I just loved helping people, and I was like doing that with my podcast and sometimes with content. I have calls, and I really liked that interaction. And the whole certification was all about the subconscious brain, all these different things.
Right.
And so towards the end of 2019, I'm like, okay, I have all these skills. I can do photo, video, podcast, content. I built my own social media. Like somebody needs something that I can
Right.
do.
Exactly.
And I would love that. So that was my first goal, was to leave my corporate job and just have more freedom where I can talk on live streams. Like if I was doing
Yeah.
this with my corporate job, talking about my passion, I would be afraid that like my coworkers would see it. It was just a weird
Hmm.
tension.
I get
So that
that.
was my goal. So I was like, okay, I started networking and I met somebody here in Hollywood, Florida, which is closer to my family as well. So it was a great alignment. And so
Nice.
since then, I took that opportunity. I quit my job, moved in with my mom, started working with them. Amber's the best.
She is.
Thank
She's
you.
so sweet.
So then
Hi, Desi.
yeah, so then I moved in with my mom, started working with clients, and then since then it's just been growing, working with more clients, working on my own content, and now I work with I Love Basketball. What's up, Zigzag? Thanks, buddy. And
Man, I need
so
your followers to come on my live.
they will.
They just came one after another. I love
He's
it.
I have the best following, I think,
They do.
because the best thing about you too is you're very interactive and engaging. I think that's the best thing is that like because
Yeah.
and that's part of who I am. When I actually took a personality test in corporate, which was funny because it showed me like it was really funny because I didn't know how to quit my job. I didn't want to leave those people. I loved them and I was helping them and I didn't it
Right.
was weird. Like I just wanted to leave for no reason. It wasn't like a better opportunity. I'm like I'm
Yeah.
quitting to
It's
go
just for
chase a dream.
yourself, basically.
Yes. And they
Yeah.
were supportive, but it was like I took this test in December. This is a funny story, and we got the results back in like April. And I ended up quitting like a few months later. But when I got the results, a lot of people were like, they like to do things in a timely manner. They don't care if it's exactly correct. They'll adapt on the fly. Some people want to take their time and get it right. Mine was like, I
Hmm.
just want everyone to be happy. It was like
Yes.
all about
Hmm.
people. So that actually helped me because I could tell them like, hey, I think I started like asking about like different positions. So they kind of knew I wasn't too happy with my position. And
Right.
then I ended up telling them I'm going to go chase my dream of helping people and content creation. But it was funny because I learned about myself through corporate too. So everything's a learning experience.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be where I am if, like, knowledge wise without having the previous job. So
Yes.
it's definitely benefits from everything you do in life
Yep.
because you learn a little bit from every part of it. So,
I think that's the best. A famous vlogger that I'm a huge fan of is Casey Neistat, and I was like binge watching him at my corporate job because he was very inspirational. And
yeah.
one thing he said that he's like he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life exactly, but he was like a dishwasher. He had a kid already. He was making no money, and he was like scrubbing the
Yeah.
seafood out of this like bin. And he's like, I hated that. He's like, so at least I know I don't want to do that.
Yes,
And so
exactly.
that's kind of what the desk job was. I didn't hate it, but it was just something I know I didn't want to do day in and
Right.
day out. So it's like, okay, that I don't like that structure for my life. So whatever you're doing, if you don't hate it, it's still shaping you if you can be aware.
Exactly. And I'm the same way. Like, I've always been like that mentality. I love to work. I've always worked. I've worked like doubles. I've worked all day before. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. Like,
Hmm.
my family calls me Energizer Bunny because I just keep moving. And and I just came to the conclusion that I am not a sit at a desk 40 hours a week kind of girl. I can
Yeah.
do it, but I don't have
Yeah.
passion in it.
Yes.
It's not something I'm like, oh man, I'm not good at. It's
Hmm.
just, I love what I'm doing with my page, and I plan on making it a nonprofit
Yes.
someday, and that's what I'm working towards. The connections, the tools, the resources. Because right now it's just me. I don't have a team behind me.
No,
So
I know. I love what you're doing, by the way. I'm a big fan.
thank you, thank you.
Super cool. And it
Yeah.
takes a lot of guts to go for that too. It's like you don't know what you're just trying to chase this passion, and that's the hardest part, but the most fun part. If you can flip that in your brain, that's really powerful. If you can say you have no idea where it's going, but it also means that there's infinite ways it can go, and so many things, beautiful things that can happen.
Yes, exactly. I'm living a situation right now working with banking and trying to grow my business outside of it to be able to make a living out of it.
Oh, that's my boy Igor.
Um,
Working with banking. Yeah, I see. He's working hard on his. He sent me some clothing line he's working on as well. He's a trainer, I believe.
nice. Good for you. You have me rude.
I don't know what she means.
You're my team. Amber is a silly
Oh,
girl.
you have me. Rude. I get it. She's saying you don't have,
Oh.
she said you had no team, I think you said.
Oh,
She's
I'm
very,
sorry, Amber.
no.
Of course I have you.
Elliot, thank you, brother. So
But
yeah,
yeah,
tell me about you. So you're doing your passion. What did you learn? What was you had a big turning point and when you realized it wasn't fulfilling?
I've always, for years, I've always knew, like, like I said, I would work constantly and I would be okay with it, but I just never felt like a purpose in what I was doing. I just
Yeah.
never felt good about it. But then, when I was actually at like my lowest point this year,
Hmm.
so that's why I created Baby Be Brave, because I knew the one day I was like, I really hit my low earlier through the pandemic this year, around maybe the springtime. And I just realized, I'm not the only one who feels this way, and I know
Hmm.
I'm not alone. So I wanted to create a page to let people know that, they're not alone. Your
Yeah.
feelings are valid, you matter, everything about you is enough. And, I want people to know, like, we're all in this together. We're all struggling in one way or another. And that's why I set like my message for my pages. I am an adoptee support because I'm adopted, but I also focus primarily on self love and acceptance,
Aw.
because I feel like everybody, whether you're adopted or not adopted, everyone wants to have, feel acceptance.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to have self love for themselves, and a lot of people struggle with that, including myself. And that's something I'm working on. But I want to be able to help others while I'm working on myself,
Yes. That's a
and
beautiful
it's
thing.
given me a purpose, and I feel good. Like, I was actually on the phone all day with, you know like a couple badass do-gooder members. I
Yeah.
was on the phone with Zeke, Janelle Perez, super sweet girl. I was just, and then like after I was done, it was never like, oh man, like why did I schedule so much? It was just, I felt like they fed my soul a little bit.
Right, right, right.
And
That's a
Amber,
good
of
feeling.
course, she gets
Yeah.
jealous when I don't say her.
Amber. That's so
um,
funny.
but yeah, I
I
just
know
like,
what
I
you're
feel
feeling, yeah.
good after, and I felt like I'm fulfilling a purpose. And I'm a big believer of, even if I help one person, I've
Yeah.
done my part. And it takes one person to bring that, go through that cycle of, I help someone and that person can help someone else, and then it's just
Yes.
like a chain.
I love that.
So
Definitely. I
yeah,
like to call it the ripple effect of
the ripple
energy. It's like
effect,
even for
exactly.
yourself, if like you just kind of if you have one thought that's a little bit positive, then maybe the next thought's even more positive, and then something
Exactly.
never know. It's really
And
good. That's
one
a really
kind thing can literally go so far to somebody. Like, if someone's having a
definitely.
bad day or just feeling so bad about themselves, just saying, you're beautiful, or you're
Ah,
smart, or just something encouraging can really make their day and give them some motivation.
definitely, and I love that because I was just talking to a friend that the giving and receiving, I was telling her about the Seven Spiritual Laws book, that the giving and receiving is the same channel. So a lot of times, even if you're not feeling it, if you're
Right.
not feeling inspired, you're not feeling beautiful, if you tell someone else, then it makes you because it's the same
Yeah,
channel. So
absolutely. And you
yeah,
feel
it's a
good
great one.
after, about, like, you
Oh
feel
yeah,
good about yourself making someone else feel good about themselves.
yes.
And
It's
that's
the
pretty
biggest
much
hack.
my,
Yeah.
yes, and that's what my whole goal is for this page. Is I want to make a nonprofit for adoptees, but I also want to help people just with the whole, like I said, acceptance and self-love. So I want to have programs and different tools and research sources for people who suffer with mental health.
Yeah.
Like, I need to break that stigma of mental health therapy. I go to therapy, and there's no shame in that, to
Yeah.
go to therapy and need help. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean,
I
uh,
think more on that is that one of the best things about the life coaching that I learned is that when you have when you're in your own head, therapy or coaching, whatever it is just having
mhm,
someone else there is like they're looking at it from a totally different perspective.
right.
And then when you're in your own head, it's not that you can't see it, it's that your emotions, you're really close to it, like literally, and your
Exactly.
emotions cloud it. That if someone's over here, like for example, if I tell you, hey, I feel like this, and you're way over here looking down at my problems, you'd be like, what about over there? And I
Right.
wouldn't have been able to see that without you. So that's how I see
Exactly.
therapy, is that somebody just to help you see a little differently, or just open your
Yeah.
eyes a little bit. It's great.
And I'm also getting, well, I feel like the community on Instagram is just so powerful too of itself. Like, there's such a support system out there. Like, if you go to every page, like, I go to your page and I'm like, wow, like you give me a
Ah,
little like energy, and
little
like when I
boost.
see your,
That's what I
yeah,
hope
I'm
to
like,
do.
wow,
Yeah.
he's super,
Yeah.
energetic. I'm gonna go do something, and
Yes.
then I look at Desi with Candle in a Dark Room. She helps a lot of victims through like sexual abuse, and it's just it's amazing. I got inspiration from her, and
Yes.
I get inspiration from Zeke, I get inspiration from Amber, I get inspiration from so many different organizations that I'm following and supporting. And you don't realize what you do. Like, you're not just there posting stuff and doing working, you're helping so many people, even if
Yes.
you don't feel like it, you are.
Yes, I love that. And I get a lot of inspiration from your page when I see it. It's always like a positive feeling.
Oh,
But you should
good.
do more of you on the story. I want to see more of you and your voice. I know it's tough. I know. When
Okay,
I,
well, that see, I was also very like shy growing up, which I'm
yes,
still shy in a way, but I've come out of that cage a little bit,
yes.
or shell. But Michelle's coming out of her shell a little bit. But
Coming out of her Michelle. Oh God, it's
yeah, I'm gonna
terrible.
have to like
Sorry.
do something cool with that name, Michelle coming out of her shell or something. But
Yeah.
um so that's why I started doing the lives. When my very first
Yes.
live, I got really excited. I was like, when I first started, I was like, I'm gonna go live today, and like I advertised it to everyone. And then I realized after I did, I was like, oh no, I really have to go live. Like, it's not just
Yeah.
something you say.
Yeah.
So I was literally pacing back and
Oh,
forth in my basement, like, oh, Michelle, what did you do?
yeah.
I was so nervous. Like, my hands were sweating, and but like, once I've been doing more lives, I love when people come on with me. And the more I've been doing it, the more I feel like I'm opening up more.
I mean, you seem like a
Um,
natural. It's comfortable.
you're the third person that said that, and I feel like I'm like so like tongue tied,
I don't
like
think
in the very
so.
beginning.
Um,
But thank
I
you.
think it's because when you do, like when I meet people that have done work on themselves and and they're being themselves, it comes off as a natural live stream host or
True.
whatever conversation, because they fall back on themselves, and they're not trying to be anything else. I think that's what shines
Exactly. And
through.
I always tell people, like, speak from your heart.
Yeah.
Don't go to the internet all the time, or don't like try to copy off. Like, just speak what's from your heart, and that's how you heal, and that's how you gain people. You
You
know,
should say that on your
you
story.
can like connect. I know I
I
should. I
It's
might need
tough.
your
It's a
help with
muscle. I
this.
will help you, but I'm telling you,
Okay.
and that's how you connect it to people, because they see it and they want to see you. And I'm telling you, the more you do it, you'll have some. I mean, that's what the muscle is. You post something you don't
Yeah.
like, but you just do it, and it's
Well, that's
easier
what
than
I'm
a live.
definitely
You're doing the
working on.
hardest one. You're doing the hardest one with the live, because you can't hit X, you can't delete it. People
Right.
watching this, so you
Exactly. I
jumped
know.
ahead. So stories stories are great though for the profile.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm working on something where I'm going to start coming on more. I want to do a live on my own and just talk about things, but I'm very like I like to like prepare a lot. Like, I'm
Yeah.
very like that's like a little OCD in me. Like, I like to have things organized, and everything like in line. So I want to make sure I have everything, all my like I's dotted, my T's
Yeah.
crossed before I go on, because I never want to go on blind.
Yeah,
So
I'm on the other spectrum, and I need to come more towards you. I go a little too spontaneous sometimes, and I need to have a little
no,
bit more
not
of a
at
structure.
all. I'm
Well, it's,
telling you, your
yeah.
energy passes on to others.
Oh, thank you.
I'm telling
I
you.
was gonna say a really cool thing that you mentioned
A
that
little
how,
OCD. Amber's like, she's such a brat.
when it comes to the inspiring, one of the coolest things is that the one of the things I did was one time I tried stand up and I bombed, but I shared
Oh,
about it, and I even like reacted to my own video and watched it. It was terrible,
oh,
but
but you
I've
did it.
I did it. But here's the
Yeah.
coolest part, is that like I've done other things where it's like where you post a story, you try a channel. Oh, before I tell you this story, sorry, I meant to tell you about the other thing you said, where social media, when you said you had to do the live stream and you were
Yeah.
like you didn't want to do it because you mentioned it. That's one of the greatest motivators in anything you do. That's why I'm really motivated to work out and train, because I constantly tell people my goal. So even if no one's keeping track, it's a good way if you really want to get something done, make it public. And
Right.
it's tough, but it's hard, but it'll fuel you that you don't even know you had fuel like
Practice
that.
makes perfect. And
Yes.
learn.
So if I
Yeah.
tell people I'm gonna be doing run a mile tomorrow morning, I want to follow through. I don't want one person to see me like not mention it or something. So,
Right, right.
but yeah, so the other one was I did stand up, and when I did that, by doing that, like you said, once you get the inspiration shared, like when I just say go start your day, have some energy, people do that and they reply. But when I did the stand up, it was such a big action for me. I feel like it was a huge motivator for people. Like the level matched, meaning people reached out to me saying, "What's up, Kevin?" People reached out to me that they did crazy things, like they went to talk to a girl in their class, or they
Yeah,
gave a presentation, or they tried something crazy new. But it was like, um, because I was able to share that experience, like it was such a higher level. I've never had people take so much action. Like before, just in conclusion, is that I would say, I feel good today. I slept good. I feel good. People say, I feel great. And they get the feeling.
yeah,
But me taking a
absolutely.
big action, people took action. Like they didn't just feel good or get a good inspiration. They like took huge actions. So that's another thing to remember is that by you taking a huge action, it makes a huge ripple. So the bigger
Right,
action you take, the bigger action it makes.
exactly.
It's
And you know
cool.
what one thing I like, not like, but I think it should be addressed. Like, I don't always, I like when people also share their failures instead
Hmm.
of all their achievements.
Hmm.
Because, you look at someone, if they constantly just share, like, everything that's going right, you know, what's the fun in just that? Like, it's
Yeah,
not, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
100%.
because you definitely, even though like you try something and you fail, it doesn't mean that, okay, that just wasn't for you,
Yeah.
or and you tried it, so now move
Yes.
on and find something else that's better for you, or you think you're better at. And so that's why I talk about like a lot of like learn from your mistakes kind of thing. And I'm getting more vulnerable on my page about
Uh,
my life, and
Definitely.
failures that I've dealt with, and but those failures have brought me who I am now,
I think I
and
just
there's a
posted something. Yeah,
reason.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more that, and I always try to stress that every time I learn something, it's only because you failed. The only time you grow
exactly.
is because you learn something. And I think I posted something today on my story that positive people aren't positive because they're just positive, something like that. And it was, they've been through hell and they've been through all these things
Yeah,
that now they're positive that they made it through, something like that. But it was like even just simple
yeah,
positivity
that's a
came
good
from
message to
struggle.
send.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
So I hear from a friend that you had a very cool grandmother.
Oh my gosh, yes. She
Yeah.
passed in June.
I'm sorry, by the
No,
way.
yes, it's all right. I'm happy now because she was struggling her last couple of years, just like injuries and just sad. So she's at peace now. It brings me peace that she's at peace. But yeah, so we used to hang out, and when I was in high school, I lived at home, and she moved in with my dad, and I would go crazy because I would just she would have crazy reactions. She was like the first celebrity before like celebrities. I was Snapchatting her. And so yeah, I
Oh.
would just like joke with her, get her to say crazy things. We'd dance in the car and I have so many crazy videos. I'll have to like post some old memories,
Yeah. I
but
would
she was
love to see that.
hilarious. Yeah, she'd be like, I have some videos of her on YouTube, but she would just say crazy off the wall things that I'd be like, "What do you think of this song?" She'd be like, "What?" And it's like just her funny Italian accent,
Oh.
cursing and saying crazy things. One time, here's a great example. Is like my legs. I have big legs, and when I sit on a chair, they kind of like expand. And one time she looks over, she's like, "Your legs look pregnant." And I was like, "What?" That was the funniest thing I've ever heard. She's like, "It looks like your legs are pregnant." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." And
Oh no.
another of my favorite is like when I got older, because I guess my face got a little more defined. But I come home from college and she goes, instead of saying like chiseled or shapely, she goes, "Your face looks sunken in." I'm like, "All
Okay.
right, thanks, Grandma." Like that's the best. Like I guess I
I
look
love
good,
that.
but she was stuff like
I was
that.
raised with a lot of Italians and a lot of
Ah,
older Italian. Like all my aunts were like
yeah,
in their
they
90s, and the stuff that they said,
it
it's like
cracked me up.
my mom like does that a little bit too. Like
Yeah,
she got that.
backwards compliments, sort of.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
there
they
was
crack
one
me up.
time I remember her telling me, because I'm very independent. I like to just do things on my own. Like I'm very, like I consider myself like strong. I like to I rearrange furniture. Like
Yeah.
I can move things that are like heavy, and I that's just I like enjoy that.
Yeah.
And one time I remember my mom saying, "You're like a man," and instead of saying
Like
you
the
have the
benefits
strength
are
of a man,
yes, yes.
you know, you're like a man, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, like, but because I live with her, I know exactly what she meant.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if someone else was hearing that,
I
they'd be
know the
like,
best. That's
"Oh, that's
so
horrible that her mother said that to her."
that was the best is my friends would be in the car sometimes and she would try to say some things like that to me. It's so funny. Like Like I'd turn this way or something, she'd see my haircut, and it would be like this. She'd be like, "Your hair looks like." You ever heard of that phrase, "a duck's ass"? She would say that all the time. She'd be like, "You got like a what?" She's like a duck's ass. Like she would try to
They
say it
just
like it's
don't hold
nice, like
anything
it's
back.
shaped nice, but that's how she would call him. Like, great, thanks.
I felt like
I
because
loved
they were
it.
an older Italian, they felt they could get away with it.
She didn't even know what she was saying. It was
Yeah,
so, but also like she would just like I would be going have a lot of energy, and I would like be trying to make her laugh, and she'd be like telling me she's going to commit me to the insane asylum, things like that. So I would be laughing. She'd make me laugh so hard.
oh,
I'll have to
that's
share
so
some videos.
cute. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
definitely
hilarious.
want to see that. So you also, I can see you do meditating. You have
Yes.
meditation on Spotify
I do
or
one on Apple. A
Apple?
lot of time, yeah, just because I think my friend sent it to me. It's the Joe Dispenza one that I like. I was doing that one I did it for like a long time, maybe like 30 days straight of just that one, but then I would come on and off. Now I just kind of do my own for just 5 minutes, just a quick
Okay.
breather, more of visualization. But yeah, I'm big into that. I did like earlier this year, especially during the quarantine, I did like a 100-day streak, and then I kept it
Nice.
up to like 130 days, but then I just kind of fell off, and I kind of go back and forth with it. But almost every night I do it too, because I like to do it when I sleep. But yeah, it's a big part of I think what everybody should be doing, just because it's a muscle itself. It's
Right.
really changed my life because whenever you're in traffic or anything, you just take a big breath, and the
Mm-hmm.
ability to remember to do that is just from practicing meditation. And then
Yeah.
like we talk about the rippling of thoughts and energy and different things. That practice ripples into everything I do, from training to eating to just interacting with people. It's a really,
Right.
really solid practice.
Yeah, for sure.
How about yourself? Do you meditate at all?
I don't, so I actually want to learn how to do it. And I know people keep
Oh
telling
yeah,
me like
you
it's
asked
so
me about it, I
easy.
believe, right?
Yeah, I do want to. I do like. I've learned like to when something like bothers me, I learn to stop. I breathe and I do like count to five kind of thing. And that
Yes.
does help a little bit, the breathing exercises. But I definitely want to meditate.
So,
So
from my own failures, that's how I learned how to do it for me. Because I talk about it now like I do it easily, but it was like my whole life. I never understood it, never tried it. I started in like 2018,
hmm
and I wouldn't say failed because I was like trying different things for so long, but I never understood it for so long. But what helped me was, first of all, it's a little bit different for everybody, and like different analogies make sense for different people. The Headspace app is great.
headspace. Okay.
Headspace, I could text it to you,
Okay.
because they kind of walk you through it as you do it. So that's really helpful. But this is what really helped me because I have a high energy and my mind races like crazy. And a
Yeah.
lot of the beginner meditations that I listened to or people that explained how to do it, they would say, watch your thoughts, like try to observe your thoughts, like
Hmm.
as if you're sitting on a bench and your thoughts are cars passing by. Like say you say, "Oh, I got to do this tomorrow. Oh, I have to call this person." It's like don't like go do that or write it down. Just like kind of watch it and be like, okay, just to kind of be an observer. That didn't really work for me because I kept getting engaged with each thought.
Okay.
And then sometimes I would not even notice. Like I would say like, "Oh, I got to call this person," and then I would think about that, and then it would go like, "Oh, I got to call him about
Your
this," and
mind was
and
wandering
it
and
was
you.
gone.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what happened was this guy named Duncan Trussell, really popular podcaster. He's really into it. He had a really good way of acknowledging this.
Okay.
That really helped my meditation, which was you sit and meditate. You try to focus on your breath,
hmm
and it's a singular focus. So you're just breathing, breathing, and you see how many times you can do that. And usually for me, it's like two or three before my mind jumps. But then he's like, "Oh, see if you can catch yourself." Say, "Oh, I'm thinking of like I caught myself thinking about tomorrow. Like I'm not thinking about my breath anymore. What happened?" And then you come back to your breath and then try again. One, two, three. Maybe you get to four this time, right?
hmm
Whatever it is, as you do that repetitively, you catch yourself thinking and come back. That's like a muscle. So
Oh.
hopefully you can, as soon as your mind drifts, you get to start to catch it quicker. So you don't get
Okay.
too lost. And that helped me because then it was like focus on my breath, and I do it when I sleep. So I focus on my breath, I drift, I catch it, come back, focus on my breath. And if I do that a few times, a lot of times I just fall asleep.
Yeah.
And that's my goal anyway, is to sleep. But in my
Hopefully not in the
medit
car while you're driving.
no, no, yeah. So, but in like the mornings when I do it, is like I just try to. I never can really do it all the time of just like holding on to my breath counts forever. But it's
Right.
like sometimes I can get to like 10, or sometimes I just do it. But like the more big breaths you can do, say I set my timer for 10 to 20 minutes, if I'm catching my thoughts pretty quickly, then I feel like that was a solid meditation session. But even if I'm drifting into thoughts and I lose my into my thoughts for 5 full minutes, but I'm still sitting there and I finally bring it back, I'm like, oh, I still got it. Like it was almost like a hard day at the gym. Like you
Right.
went and you didn't really feel good and you couldn't really get in the zone, but you still went, and that's progress. So that's how it feels for me, and that's really helped me because there's no stopping my brain and there's no observing it.
Right.
It's like just being able to kind of focus on
Slow
instead
it
of
down a little
slow
bit.
it exactly. And
Yeah.
also like this thought of like I'm not stopping thinking. I'm using my thinking for one thought, whether it's like thinking about your body or thinking about your breath or just thinking about a mantra, whether it's just like I feel peace. I feel peace. It's like
Yeah.
instead of like nothing, you focus on one thing and that one thing.
Oh my gosh, they're killing me. I'm trying
Y'all
not to
cute.
laugh while I was listening to you.
What's up, everybody? Cupid. You look at my
Dylan,
recent posts.
he is my
I'm scrolling.
friend.
That was a great question. But yes, meditation was tough. Um,
Yeah.
and the only way I realized I knew I was getting good practice out of it was that throughout the day, when I'm driving, I would notice my breath.
Okay.
So just, I like to equate it to lucid dreaming because I used to like to try to lucid dream, which is where you're like awake in your dreams. And the way
Oh.
they tell you to try to help you get awake in your dreams is like throughout the day, try to ask yourself, am I dreaming right now? And you look around and be like,
Hmm.
no, this is reality. And the point is that when you ask yourself multiple times throughout the day, when you're sleeping, maybe in your dream, you ask because it's a subconscious, like every couple hours you do it, that in your dream you'd be like, am I dreaming? And you're like, oh yes, I am. And then you start like
That
doing
is
whatever you want
so
in your
cool
dreams.
and weird at the same time.
Yes. So the meditation's kind of the reverse. So it's
Okay.
like you're doing it for your waking life. So with them, you practice once a day meditating, just focus on your, just breathe
Okay.
over and over again. Then maybe like when you're in the car and you're like, and you're driving like, and you feel a little tense, you'll be like, I got to get to the grocery store and the post office closes. This person, I got to do, and you remember to just to breathe. And you're like, okay. And it's like a reminder just so you, because if you do it every day in other parts, you can, it's going to be just a practice that you do. And that's
Right.
what's helped me. That's
Okay.
what I've noticed. Yes.
Okay. I definitely want to get into the
Dylan.
meditation. I'm maybe a little nervous about doing the whole dreaming part,
It's
but
fun.
I'm sure it is. But I definitely want to learn meditation.
Dreaming is cool.
Um, so that's really cool that you're just, I love how you, you wanted to dunk and you did
Yes.
it, even though, like, I'm short too. So there
Yes.
was a lot of times, like, I probably can't even reach that at all. So I don't want to try it. But, unless you put like the springs on the bottom of my shoes, I could probably do it.
Trampoline.
Yes, or a trampoline. But I love that you did it anyway and you reached your goal. And I love how you just kept thinking like, what else can I do? And
Yes.
that's what's great is for people to just know like you're not just going to be good at one thing,
Mm.
and don't feel like you have to like when you find something you're good at, that's it, and then I'm comfortable now and I'm good.
Yeah.
No, push yourself. Moonbow shoes, yes. Push yourself to learn. There's so much you need to learn about yourself, and you're gonna constantly learn about yourself as you like grow in. As you
Yeah.
get older, like people think like when they're like 50, they're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
too old
That's
for
it.
this and it's too late. And I'm like, why is it too late?
Right.
It's only too late. That's an excuse.
Yes.
And I get it that sometimes it's hard for people to go outside of their comfort zone. And I get that. But if you don't go out of your comfort zone, you don't really know what you're really capable of and what the rest of life has to offer for you.
Definitely.
Because there's
I've
so much out there. And that's what I love the
agreed.
message we got to, send tonight is like find your passion, go for it, don't give
Yes.
up, and yeah, you
The
can do
art behind
anything
it.
you put your mind to. But
Agreed. This is a friend, Scotty J, made this. I'll tag it in my story. It's a really
that's
cool
really cool.
artist. Yeah, I got it from his birthday party. I won
Very
it.
cool.
But I
You
was gonna
won it?
say, yes. No, I didn't paint it. My friend did. He's an artist. He's really good. I took photos of him once, like in his studio. Super cool. But I wanted to tell you about getting outside your comfort zone. Oh, the passion. This is a really cool thing too. Is that the passion? People want to find their passion and then like start, but you have to like start doing things and trying things to find
Exactly.
it. And that was a
Exactly.
really big thing I want to convey. Like the same way you're kind of building yourself up and helping people along the way as you do it. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I want to do as well. As I've made it this far, but I want to really make sure people understand that I didn't even think it was possible to dunk. And then now, like the career I'm in, either like there was times where it didn't seem like a possibility, but you have to
Yeah.
just go for it before you're and then you start to believe it as it
It's
happens. It's hard to believe it first.
for sure. And it's
Yeah.
scary. And I know
Yeah.
why a lot of people, don't want to do things is because it's scary. And I completely get that. But, sometimes you have to not be scared and you have to try it anyway. I put a really, hi,
They're in
Z.
here. Stop it.
Um, so I put a really like, not it was a cute and corny post I put up earlier how, you know,
Magic wand?
about the magic wand, like
Yeah.
we, we are the magic wand. We don't
Yeah.
have to go looking for it, so we have that power to do anything we want to do, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't let anyone or anything get in the way of that.
I love
And that's
that.
what I want to help people see is you are so much more than you think you are.
Yeah.
And you have so much to offer to this world, and you just need to find it.
What do you
You
think
need
would
to
be the
work for it.
first step?
The first step,
Yeah.
get outside your comfort zone.
I love that.
That is
Agreed.
your very first step, is step outside the little box that you're in, because I'm doing it as well.
Yeah.
Because I never want to go, and I always say I never go on my page and preach.
Yeah.
I don't say like you need to do this, you need to do that, and then I don't do
Mm.
it as well. So
Yes.
whenever I put a post up, I always put wait, because we were all in this together. We were all learning in
I
this
love
world
that.
together, and no one's perfect, and you just have to do you, be you, and be the best version you can be of yourself.
I love that. That's great.
And yeah, so that's the first step. Get outside your comfort zone, and then connect with people. There's so many people. You are never too old to meet new people.
Yeah.
And I'm 32, and I've met so many new wonderful people just creating this page. If I never
Yeah.
created this page, I never would have met anyone from the Badass Do-Gooders. I would have never met just wonderful, inspiring people. And it's just amazing to see how much good there is in this world, and like how many good people there are that are spreading that good.
Yes. That's so sweet.
And that's my motivation, and that's my
Yeah.
inspiration every day.
That's the hardest part for me as well, is I want to tell people like you have to do it before it happens. Like people want like motivation's a good example. It's like they want to be motivated and then they'll
Mm-hmm.
go do something that's tough when they feel the motivation. But they have to it's the other way around, but it's so hard to they have to experience it for themselves. So I'm
Yeah,
almost like yelling, just go try it and then you'll feel it and
exactly.
now it'll flip you because you'll
And no
have that
matter how
under your
hard
belt.
it is, push through it. Don't
Yes.
just say, oh, that first little step, it's like, oh man, I don't know if I could do this. Maybe it's not for me. And then they back up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't do that. Take the next step.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but not everything. If things in life are easy, then maybe that's not for you.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. You
Everyone
got to
would do it
push
if it was
yourself.
easy.
Yeah, if it
Yeah.
was exactly, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So
That's right.
absolutely.
I love
So
that.
what message do you want to send to people?
Um, One is anything is possible if you can believe it. I'm really a big believer that if like anything that I haven't achieved yet is because I don't fully believe I can yet. And it's like a practice and it's a muscle to really believe things. Because some things are so like dunking was such a hard goal. It's like
Yeah.
I didn't believe it for so long. I might have been able to do it sooner if I believed it sooner. That and also to enjoy more. Like there's uh, just I want them to be more aware of how insane life is. Like when you wake up and you're on the spinning globe that's floating,
Mm-hmm.
and like you're saying, you have a magic wand that you could pretty much create anything. And if you could believe that,
Mm-hmm.
how crazy your life or how fun you could be, like the level of the frequency you can live on is so amazing. So I really want
Absolutely.
people to realize that they can really have a lot more decision power than they think, just like you were saying,
Yeah.
and just be themselves. Like that's the best thing they can do is like when they're themselves, that's how they can be the best for the
Yeah.
world. Like they have a unique thing. They have their own DNA, which is just like what they're born with, but also
Mm-hmm.
their experiences they've been through, and that makes them one of one.
Yep.
And if you do that and hone in on that, you'll be the best version of yourself, but you'll also live the best life you could possibly live and impact the world on the largest degree. That
Exactly.
is
And
short
that's
and
perfect.
sweet.
I know that is perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, so I mean basically the message is just don't give up, keep
Yes.
going. You matter, you are enough. And I always sometimes I think of life as like being on a hamster wheel.
Mm,
Because sometimes you feel like you're just constantly going around and around and around. But there is a point where you need to jump off
yeah.
and get off that wheel.
Yes.
So
And enjoy. That's another one. Just
yeah,
enjoy more. Like there's so many things to enjoy, and
there
you could
is.
do everything you want to do if you believe you can, because then you'll start taking action towards it. Never know. You want to go to this country, who knows how you'll get there, but just set the goal and start working towards it, because you can't,
Hmm.
people want the goal and they don't see the path in between, so they don't
Exactly.
start. You got to start going, and then you start to see the path.
Right. You got to start somewhere. You always
Yes.
start from scratch.
Bad G's in the house.
Woo-hoo. Um, I was gonna say something. I can't.
Do you have a big dream? Do you have a big giant goal that you're like, for example, I kind of want to be like an entertainer. And that's pretty much my end goal, is to just do things that are entertaining, whether it's a podcast, comedian, dancing, artistic
Right.
things.
Well,
But
you're on your
yeah,
way there.
yeah, and I have no idea how I'm gonna get there, but that's kind of like where I'm at now, is like balancing like making a business,
Is
rapping.
rapping. You
Um,
rap.
yeah. So I like to
Okay.
make music. I got my little mic here, but I haven't done it too much. But it's like an
Um,
end goal to like have more time to do that, and kind of it's a big expression of mine of like when I think of like what I want to do. But it's like I have no idea how I'm going to get there, or like if I'm going to have like financials to do that, whatever. But it's like you
mhm.
go towards it, and you don't know. But that's the fun part.
Exactly.
It's like imagine if I get to that life. That'd be amazing
Exactly.
if you get to do what you love all the
And
time.
one door opens, many more open after that.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm,
So my goal.
yeah.
So I think my biggest goal is I want to make a nonprofit.
Yes, that's awesome.
So for I want to focus a lot on for adoptees. You know, I want to provide the tools and resources for them to go searching for their birth families. And I want to
Mm,
be with them through the whole process of doing the research, to contacting them, to meeting them in person. If you know,
wow.
if that's what they want from like the support from start to beginning. I want to have adoptee like support groups, like for adoptees, for parents who are adopting, um, because you know it's hard for both sides. And I want to
Yes.
also have an adopt a support group for biological mothers who've given up their children, because I'm starting to realize like before, like
Yeah.
growing up, it was I always felt like me, like it's all about me and how I felt. But now I'm starting to look at my birth mother as a person.
Of course. Yeah.
Not that she, of course, like
No,
of
no, no. I
course I knew
get
she
it.
was a
I get
person,
it.
but now I'm like I'm not like, wow, she was selfish,
Right.
or
They have their own issues basically as well.
right, like they are a human. They had like I can't even imagine what she's been through and what
Yeah.
brought well I do know what brought her there. We won't get into it now, but um so it had to be very tough for her. So now I'm seeing her as a person, and
That's big of you. That's tough. Yeah.
yeah, and so I have more empathy for her.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to have like different support groups, but I also want to have like coaching lessons for to focus on the whole acceptance and self love and self bullying, and because that's all things that I've struggled with my whole
Yeah.
life. So that
That's
that
really
is my
awesome.
main goal. Yeah, I'm actually working on in the process of working on a children's book,
Aw.
and I have a podcast series coming out next month called Brave
Whoa.
Souls, and I want everyone to come on, whoever, to share their story. Um, like I said before, it takes one person to share their story to,
Impact
like
a
you said, the
lot.
ripple
Yeah.
effect. Yeah. So I'm working on a website for like to sell my clothes, like an apparel for my page,
Nice.
which all the proceeds will be donated to nonprofit organizations.
Beautiful.
So
By the way,
not
when you, yeah, sorry, but when you do the podcast, let me know, because that's what I do. I can help you set it up
I would
and
absolutely
like
love
make
that.
the
I'm
best
focusing on that
like
soon.
strategy possible too. So that'd be
Yeah,
great.
I would love your help. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. That sounds really great. I think that's a
Yeah, so
great
I
way
have
to
a
do it.
lot of different goals. Like I said, my mind just constantly races. Like I am the
Yeah.
Energizer Bunny in my head too. So I'm
How's your
constantly like trying
Amber?
to. Really quick, I have to roll it. Bye. Thank you for joining, Amber. Um, but yeah, I'm always constantly thinking about like new things for myself, and sometimes I get ahead of myself,
Yeah.
and then I need to just like slow down. But I just have so many dreams and goals that
Yes.
before I never thought I was possible to do any of that, and I would be hard on myself and say, no, that's too much, or you can't get that far. Don't over
Yeah.
exceed yourself or think. So I used to think that I wasn't good enough to make all those dreams happen, and now I'm like, I want to do as much as I want and as much as I can, and whatever I fail in the process, then that's fine. I fail, but I want to keep going until I can find what my real passions are, and I'm getting there.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
great. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
No, it's not.
That's such a great thing though. But I have the same thought too, is I have these giant dreams and then it's like just like we were saying, it's like like I was just talking about other people, what happens to me too, is I have these giant dreams and you think like, how the hell am I gonna get there?
Mhm.
And you don't know. But that's what I'm telling myself recently is like enjoy the unknown because
Yes.
then you'll be open to like all these different ways of possibly getting and
Exactly.
how magical it'll be.
You have to
But
be
yeah,
open-minded. And my cousin, I always remember my cousin telling me this, especially through like my hardest times. There's always a solution to every problem. So whenever you, and that's what I constantly tell myself when I'm like in like a mess or like something's not going the way I want.
yes.
I realize I stop and think, I'm like, there's a solution to this. It's not going to last forever, and I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah,
And you
that's
have to
great.
figure it out on your own terms, so
That reminds me
because
of
that's how you
this.
really learn.
Agreed. And there's the that part of your brain. This is all science that I love, but it's like this thing called the reticular activating system, which is like the filter.
Yeah.
So like there's that study, if you type in the selective attention test on YouTube, it's like these people are passing a ball around and this gorilla walks through. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
I spoiled it, but the gorilla walks through. You're supposed to count the basketball passes, but like most people are counting the passes, they don't even see the guy in the gorilla suit walk by because they're so busy counting the passes. And it's just proof
Yeah.
that your brain can miss something so obvious when you're focused on something.
Hmm.
So when you're telling yourself that, now you're switching the filter to be like looking for the solution. Because if not, if you're like, how am I going to do this? Now your brain's focused on things that all the reasons it won't work. But
Right.
your brain can only focus on a few things at once. It has to filter some out because there's
Hmm.
just too much. So if you tell yourself there's a solution, you'll find it. But you have to
Exactly.
have that mindset. That's huge.
Exactly. You have to be open-minded in life.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to share with
Um,
anyone?
I think that's it. Everybody who's following me, I'll message. I'll send a story out because I don't know if there's too many people on. But I would love for everybody to support you. Go throw you a follow. I love what you're doing. Thank you so much. I think that's it. I think we
Yeah.
should do this again. We should do more. I look forward to growing together. Be
Absolutely.
great.
Definitely. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you have an amazing night. I appreciate everyone who's come on to follow us or to support us.
Let's take a screenshot
Uh,
real quick so I have it.
yeah.
Cheese. I got Amber's comment in there too. Perfect.
Okay.
Of
um, Steve, thank you so much for coming
course.
on with me. I can't wait to finally meet you
Yes,
and
that'd be so fun.
in person. And again, have a wonderful
Keep it
night. And
going, baby.
you too. Don't
Awesome.
give up.
Take it easy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.